So, you've created the perfect customer chatbot and added it to your website. But when opening the chat window, you notice this message: powered by Flowise. There are many reasons why you might want to remove or change this watermark, and in this video I will show you how. This is the process that the Flowise team recommend as well. In order to follow along, you will need the following. You need to install Git for your operating system, and you will also need to have a GitHub account. You will also need a code editor like VS Code. I will leave a link to all of these in the description of this video. The first thing we need to do is to go over to this page on GitHub. In order to change the chatbot's interface, we need to create a copy of this repository. In order to create a copy, click on Fork, then give your repository a name, and then scroll down and click on Create Fork. We now have a copy of this Flowise chat embed in our own personal namespace. We now need to download this forked repository to our own machines. To do this, click on Code, then copy this URL, then create a new folder on your machine and open the command prompt. On Windows, we can simply click on the address bar, then type in cmd and press enter. In the command prompt, enter git clone and then paste in that URL and press enter. And this will now create a new folder on your machine. Now go ahead and open that folder with your code editor, like VS Code, and you should be presented with a screen like this. Before we make any changes, we need to run two commands. Open the integrated terminal and run the following command: yarn install. This will set up the project dependencies and will allow us to rebuild the distribution files after making a change. It is the files in this distribution folder that is served to our website to display the chatbot. After installation is complete, we need to run yarn build. This will ensure that the distribution files are up to date. Now we can go ahead and remove that branding. Go to Source. Within Source, go to Components. And within Components, there are two important files: badge and bot. Badge contains the text of that watermark. So if you simply wanted to change the values instead of removing it altogether, you can open badge and then scroll down, and in this file you will see the text powered by and then Flowise, which is wrapped in a link. So if you want, you can change this text, and then for the link, you can change the text over here, as well as the link that this should navigate to. But for this demo, we will remove the branding altogether. So let's close badge, and let's open bot. Then, to remove the badge, we can simply scroll down in this file until we get to this badge component. So if you want, you can simply delete this line completely and save this file. Alternatively, we can simply comment out this line, and that will remove the badge as well. Now that we've made our change, we need to rebuild the distribution files by going to the terminal and then executing yarn build. And this will pick up our latest change and then include it in the distribution folder. After build has executed, we need to push our changes back to GitHub. You are more than welcome to push your changes using the terminal, but because I'm using VS Code, I'll simply use the source control tab. I will write a description for this change, like remove branding. I will then click on commit, and I will then click on sync changes. If this is your first time using Git, you might be prompted to enter your GitHub username and password. If we go back to our forked repo, we can see that the remove branding change has been pushed to this repository. Now we have a version of the Flowise chat pop-up which does not include the branding. All we have to do now is to update the code snippet in our website. If you would like to learn how to embed Flowise chatbots into your websites, then please check out my video over here. For this demo, we'll continue working on the Flowise website that we looked at in the previous tutorial. If I open the chat bubble, we can test out that the chatbot is working by typing something like hello, and we do get a response. And at the moment, we can see that powered by Flowise Branding. If we have a look at the code snippet for this web page, we can see this section over here, especially this chatbot import, which references this URL. This URL is pointing to the default Flowise embed logic. So we will change this to reference our implementation instead. What we need to do here is replace npm with gh for GitHub, and then we will replace this Flowise embed with something else. And that something else is, if you go back to your GitHub repo, you can simply copy everything from your username / and then the name of your forked repository. And then back in the code, we can simply replace this part with the username / Flowise chat embed. And if I save this and go back to my website, I'll actually give this a refresh. I can still see the chat pop up showing up over here, and that means that the link to the new URL is working. However, when we click on this, we can still see the branding. And this is something that a lot of you seem to be struggling with. The reason we are still seeing the branding, although our repo does not include the branding logic, is because of how the CDN caches these changes. If we look at our logic, we are referencing a CDN which has now buffered our code. So when we initially created our fork, the creation of this repo created a version of this code in the CDN. But it seems that when we make changes to this code, the CDN is not updated or it is delayed by days. So what we can do to ensure that we always fetch the latest version of this code from the CDN is to add the following at the end of the repository name, @latest. Let's save this. And let's go back to our website. I'll also go ahead and refresh this page just to make sure that everything is up to date. And let's now go ahead and click on chat. And as you can see, the branding is gone. And the chatbot is still working. Great stuff. And now you know how to remove the Flowise branding from your own chat bots. If you like my content, then please consider subscribing to my channel and like and share this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.